Look at that last song title. How relevant, huh? I have to turn off the music all the way. Give me a second. You guys can still hear it. Y'all can still hear it. I really gotta catch myself some more on that one. How's everyone doing tonight? Turn down the mic for the ambient noise a little bit. Started noticing even more slowdown than usual here we go. We live. Is it gonna load? Here we go. Yep. Even more slowdown than normal on, let's move back over here. Yeah. Staring back and forth, but mostly in the middle. Yeah, Evening Java by LeakDuck. This isn't Java, but it's JavaScript. That's cool. Actually, we're going to be looking at CSS tonight. So sorry for all you JavaScript nerds that tuned in to see some real programming. We're going to be messing around with style tonight, rather than... No, I'm just kidding. You know, some of this is some of this is kind of persnickety. It takes some stuff to get found out, and so I'm excited to walk through it with you guys tonight. We have data coming onto our page. We know that. List has been moved down to just what we need, basically. Actually, I think we might... the man with the ever-changing camera. I actually did change this time around because I got my third and final, or in the series, the Star Wars helmet. I'm proud of them. Very proud. He's so proud. Yeah. Moved some stuff around and I got some ideas. I got some ideas for the helmets and stuff. So there you go. Yeah, so some of this stuff can be kind of persnickety, but we have our list dwindled down to where we want it, so that's good. What I'm going to show y'all tonight is just kind of how to link a style sheet and how to start messing with styles. Something that I struggled with until is very, very small. Very small. Let me see if I can't zoom in for you. That's a little bit bigger. Ooh. Alright, there we go. Cool. Is that good? Or this is better? Or this is better? Just kidding. No, I can't see the code. Ha! Yeah, so we'll actually, and we don't need this right now because we just want this to look pretty. Oh, and you know, we will need that in the future because I'll show you how much I rely on the style debugger within the the browser console as well, because I think that's important. And I suck at CSS, so you guys can sit and laugh your asses off watching me code CSS horribly. Also, we'll install a font because we need a font for this squad page. And I think what we'll do is we'll go down to maybe like a uniform font size, because nothing on Pokemon has a different font size, right? And we're just going to have it effectively be a match of what we see on the screen. Maybe we'll even get retro with it and do like that cool like green brown color scheme in the future. I'm thinking like classic Game Boy style. Alright, so first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to create our style sheet. And before we start anything, I'm just going to go ahead and clean up this directory. This is not something that y'all need to do. This is just something that I like to do, but I'm kind of, it depends. On a static, on a one-page thing like this, I'll still put everything into, well, not there. I'll put everything into like a scripts folder right here. I'm actually going to move this into this. This is going to start erroring because we need to go here now. Source is actually scripts /script.js. And then I come in here. I'll add the style file in here. And then I'll have a whole other directory for what I'll call assets. And that's where I'll just throw like pictures, the style file that we're gonna, or the font file that we're gonna do. Maybe just the font file is one file. We'll just throw it in with the into the style directory. So there's our style.css file. I will invisibly move Microsoft. No, this is VS Code. Well, yeah, I guess, right? Microsoft code or VS Code. Move this into here. So it's just TTF file. It's a text, sorted text file. I pulled it off of dafont.com. Visual. Yeah. Microsoft is Visual Studio. Gotcha. Yeah, VS Code. I dig it. I think that it's, it's good for the way I like it, and it's light, It's light until it's not, at least. Ha! Because you can bloat it pretty easily. Are you judging me, T-Page? Is that what this is? I told you could laugh at my CSS skills, not at my choice of so we have our font file. I'm going to show you guys how to kind of link this in the CSS here in just a moment. Really? Oh, I dig it. Like I said, it's light. It's light until it's not. The thing I don't like about like most dedicated IDEs. So I do use like IntelliJ, right, for Java. I've used PHP Storm for PHP, but don't tell anyone that I know PHP because I don't technically know PHP. But yeah, so like some of those dedicated, or Eclipse, I've used Eclipse for Java. Well, what do you use though? Like Notepad++? You go like old school? You're just like Vim it up, or what? That was the boot camp. That's not the boot camp anymore. Thank you. Now they do a Node.js backend, which is much better. Oh, nice. I like the IntelliJ products, but like what I like about them is that they're all inclusive, right? Like you get the box and everything comes in the box, right? But like on stuff like VS Code, it's free. So first of all, it's free. IntelliJ products aren't. If you want to get like everything in the box. But also like VS Code, you add your extensions, but it's kind of like an at your own risk sort of deal. So that's almost becoming like a job in and of itself. Is just like figuring out a good set of extensions for your software team. So that's what's up. Anyway, tangent. Yeah, so first let's go ahead and we're going to do something very simple to show that we've linked our style sheet. I'm just going to target, let's just target our H1 on the deal. It's obviously not going to do anything now, okay? But what I'm going to show you is something for the future. I'm going to just put, this is a simple debugging. Yeah, for sure. Simple debugging tool that I like to use, called, I'm going to throw a border around it. And if the border appears, great, you know? It's kind of a cool thing. I have to remember what shorthand for border is. What is it? Like border solid red. Yeah, that should work. Yeah. And then I'm going to link it. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pull up the documentation just so that we all have it. Nobody can see it. Here's MDN documentation. Let me zoom in for the old people. Oh, just kidding. I'm joking. I'm old too. Obviously, I have two different pairs of glasses, one for the computer and not. I'm trying to use control over here. Control zoom on a minute. There we go. Is the code zooming in? I don't think this code is. So here's our link that we're going to throw up here in the document head. So I like to throw it in front of the title. You can do what you want. It's kind of a nice thing about IntelliJ shade is it's going to predict this stuff for you. I'm going to link the style sheet that way. I'm going to tell it also this. What is this tag anyway? REL. I don't know. What does that actually mean? Let's find out because I actually don't have a clue. What's rel? Rel icon. Rel style sheet. So rel there are a number of icon rel values mainly used to media attribute. Is it relation? What does REL stand for? Relationship. Thank you. Back up. But isn't that when you start to feel old? You just wait, T-Page. I thought 30 was the prime of my life. And now I'm 32. My hips hurt. My neck hurts. My back hurts. Everything starts to hurt. I'm messing with you. To be fair, I have a long-term injury too. So, yeah, relationship. Good call. Thanks. And then we'll close her on up. Close on up. Cool. And if all went well, we should have an outline around and we do, our Poke Squad box up here. So, title, or a little header. So, perfect. We have our debugging tool. Our debugging tool ended up working. Great. I usually stuff this. Does anyone use stuff? I usually stuff the hell out of this. Anyways, what's next? Oh, next we want to install our font. So let's do that. we have the Pokemon, the font in the same directory, so we'll just use that from there. Come up. The way that you go about installing a font is you're going to use the font face attribute. You're going to tell it the name of the font family, and this is something that you can tell whatever you want to give this font family. It's a custom name. I'm just gonna call it Pokemon Game Boy. Pokefont. Pokefont is so much easier to remember. I'm gonna remember it in the future better than I will remember the other. Next, we need to give it a source, basically telling it where is this font file located, and we'll just be like, hey, it's right next to you, bro. There. We also have to tell it what kind of format it is, and I actually don't know what the format type for TTF is, so bear with me while I use some Google format. Because OTF is open. Maybe it'll even, let's see if it helps me. It doesn't. OTF is open. Typeface. What is TTF? TTF. Format. CSS. Using my Google foo, I typed TTF format CSS and used too many S's. But that's okay. It knew what I meant, and it's taking me to CSS Tricks, a website that I know and trust. True type. I bet you this works. Seems legit. And then we have to apply that font to where we want to apply to. So I'm just going to go ahead and have it apply to all of the HTML. I'm also going to give it a couple of fallbacks. Those are fonts that it can use in lieu of the Polka font that we're going to install here. Then we'll use the font family tag. We'll say Polka font and also those. I use Arial, Helvetica, sans serif because I don't like the way serifs look on a web page anyway. Serifs are the little things. These. It just depends. Hold on. I don't know if you can see that. It just depends, right? Like if it's something that if it's an article that you're reading, I think serifs are totally acceptable. If it's like stuff like this, advertising doesn't typically use serifs unless it's business related, right? It's just interesting. It's one of those things. That's a whole other job too. Oh, that I'm not qualified for. You have to call somebody else for that. But as you can see, our font's been installed. That looks great. I'm really happy with the way that looks already. Not like the layout or anything. But I think that looks fair. Yeah, we'll fix up the layout now though. Cool. We're going to use a framework for this. Pure CSS. And actually, we may have to figure out. We have to do some sort of like a weird override for fonts. When we're using pure CSS, but I'll go over that here in just a moment. The reason I'm using pure CSS is because I'm lazy. Well, okay. Well, so should we be lazy? Or should we pull up maybe, because I'm going to tell you right now, like I'm not in any sort of shape to be figuring out a layout shape, as if I'm like in bad shape or something. But I don't know, like I'm not going to be able to fluently kind of do a vanilla layout right now because I'm just not great at it. But that's cool. Let's do that. Let's do vanilla. Let's struggle a little bit. Let's get better, learn new things together. I'm still going to refer to CSS tricks because there's a couple of things built into CSS that we can use for layout specifically that CSS has articles on, Flexbox being one of them. Well, that's the flex. It's a property. I want articles. There was a way to sort by articles though, right? No. Oh yes, there is. Post type. Flexbox. That's great. Grid to flex, understanding holy albatross with width. Holy albatross with width. Making width and flexible items play nice together. That's the struggle. See, this is what I'm talking about with layout. Layout, though. It's a rough process. The thought process behind Flexbox layout. No, I just want... No. I'll give you the answer to that question is no. This is a great article, by the way. I'm just going to post it up in the chat on Twitch. I've probably read this article about 100 times. Because I don't remember anything. Is anyone in the multi-stream chat? I didn't notice until just now that I don't have the multi-stream chat on. Yo! What up, Derek? Joining us live from Facebook. Alright. So I'll go back though, because we don't need this. Oh, whoa! Where did we go? I can't tell if this is issues with my ISP or with the fact that I'm running probably too many. Oh, there we go. Monitors right now. Let's Google Fluid again. Flexbox layout. Let's do a grid layout and then use Flexbox for our positioning. That's easy enough. It's been a while since I've worked with grid. This should be interesting. Look, no media queries. I think this is the article. Yes. This is all really good stuff, too. I'll be posting these for Facebook if you're following along. I'll be posting these links on the Primeval Pokemon Trainer Facebook page so that you're not left out. Also talked about putting this up on a GitHub repo. And you should absolutely be looking for that link on both the Twitch and the Facebook page. So what do we have here? No, we don't want that. We really don't want this whole article either. This is what we don't need. I just want a CSS grid cheat sheet so that we can do, like, I'm thinking, what am I thinking? Because really this is, I'm thinking ahead. Because what we need to be doing right now I think I'm misthinking. I'm misthinking and misstepping. Give me a moment. Let's just lay out what we have. For one Pokemon. We'll create a box for that image thing. Because if there's nothing there, we want it to default to something. This is the big time. Yeah, we need a box. Current level already has an input next to it. Good, that's exactly what we want. We don't really need headers. And actually, if we do have a header here, it should be another H2, and H3 is not accessibly intuitive. That already looks better. Label for level select. Can you throw a label within an H2? Will that work? Does it then take on, just out of, I've never done such a thing. It looks like it hates it. What's it doing? It's like, what did you do? You don't even know what's going on, bro. Look, for real though. Or my stream is. So, again, with Comcast, shortly, with this stream almost did not happen. Shortly before this stream went down, oh, there we go. Yeah, cool. That does work. I don't like the way it looks, but it works. Currently, before the stream started. Oh, that's a great question. And I need to. I guess that needs to be like a whole thing, right? About the setup that I'm using. So VS Code has an extension called, or a plugin called Live Server. Live Server? Yeah. And it hosts it on a local web server, so pretty nice. And just routes you straight to the page. I dig it. I think now is as good a time as any to start kind of plugging these values into the places that they need to be. We'll get rid of this because it's not necessarily anything that we need for an individual Pokemon thing. Now, if we want this to hold some sort of like a consistent size, how do we do that? I have a book about this that I read a couple months back, so of course none of the knowledge that I have is there. But let's pull it. I want to pull that book up. Yeah, it works. It does work a lot like React, exactly like that. And actually, in the future, I'll show you a single page application framework that I built that's lighter than React. And the reason that I built it was because React is kind of heavy for single page applications specifically. But yeah, like React Native. I don't think I've ever coded React Native, but if my understanding is correct, it's React for mobile formats. Does it run the same way? I'm grabbing a book. You get a chance, these books are great. They're the A Book Apart series. I'll post a link now. A Book Apart is great. This book is called HTML5 for Web Designers. I highly recommend it. Focus on accessibility is huge. They also have 2 other books. If you're into accessibility specifically, one's called Design for Real Life, and the other one is called Accessibility for Everyone. And I'll post the link to the Book Apart website as well. I don't get any kickbacks from them or anything. I just think they're dope. So. I think the next one I'd like to get from them is Designing for Emotion. That one's very, very good. Anyways, so they have a big section here on pictures that I'm gonna look at for just a moment. So you'll have to bear with me. This is the boring part of the. But whatever, we can kind of chill and talk about our day, and I don't know. I've been having a good time. Like I enjoy doing this. Picture element is a new element that acts as a container for image source files. The very last child inside this element needs to be a standard image element. This ensures backward compatibility. If the picture element is unsupported, the browser will just ignore it and show your image just as it would if you had simply put an image there. Okay, so great. Oh, I understand. I don't think I've ever done this before though. So this is cool. We're going to use this picture attribute, or this picture element, to make our media more rich. Picture elements, basically what they do is they create fallbacks within the HTML. Oh, you thought we were done with HTML. Boy, were you sadly mistaken. Just kidding. HTML is probably... This is so one of those things that you just don't say that. HTML is one of my favorites. I'm not going to say it's my favorite language, because I don't know if it's like... You say HTML is language, maybe. What do you say? Watch. You say it's markup, right? But the reason I like it is because it is so robust and very much into accessibility and, all those things. I can put, let's see, I'm gonna put a class on this. So I don't know about you, but as a general rule of thumb, is my favorite producer. Oh, okay. I like the way you worded that. Who's your favorite producer? Versus what is it? XHTML? That was hot for a very short time. How long have you been in the game, T-Page? I'm very interested to know. I mean, if you even want to share that information. I feel like I know nothing about you. You're like a loyalist. Oof. Nice. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I feel like my journey has just been like really slow though. You know? You ever feel that way? Anyway, so I'm as a general rule of thumb, this is where I kind of keep it. Classes for CSS, IDs for JavaScript. I don't always, of course, within reason, I don't always keep to that rule because obviously you need to have room, right? But the reason that I keep to that is because there's also some like built-in JavaScript methods like get elements by class name that you can use to like target specifically styled elements, right? Whereas IDs, I usually use them for like a document.get element by ID, so like something that's going to go into the JavaScript or off of the JavaScript into the HTML. And ID it that way, so the document.get element by IDs. But that's just my opinion. That's not like, I think I might have even read something about that in this book, but don't quote me on that. Certainly do your own research and do what works for you. Nothing's set in stone in development, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it. I'm just going to call this the picture box. And actually, I'm going to show you something. There is a naming convention. I believe it's called BEM. Right? No. I can't remember what it's called. What's that CSS naming convention? Yeah, it is called BEM. Thank you. Jeez. Has anyone else heard of BEM? Block element modifier. So the way that you kind of think about block element modifier, I'll pull it up, and I'll put the link in the stream. This is good. I'll have to stream. Whoa. I'll have to stream scrape after this to get all of these links back. That's good though. So block element modifier is nice because it gives you something, kind of an easy naming convention to give to everything on your page, so that you don't have to, it's just easier to keep track of, right? Because it's intuitive. So basically your block, your B refers to what you're working with. So yeah, I am going to call this block the picture box. Yeah, all one word. That works for me. And then whatever's in this picture box, I would then class as something different. So it might be like the picture box __ price. That's an element of, or header or whatnot. That's an element of this picture box. I'll give better examples in the future because I think pictures is a really weird element to kind of think about that with. And then modifiers, then anything that you would use To modify it, you would put dashes after the element tag. With modifiers too, it's nice because then you can use those to like dynamically change the modifiers using JavaScript. And the way that I've applied this in the past for one of my clients was I set up a media query to where the tag only applied when the screen was at a certain size. So it worked out well. Yeah, but we'll call that picture box. What I'm going to try to do now is throw a border around picture box. You know, kind of just a, this will be a 5 pixel. You know that border that's in the classic Pokemon games, the single line with the 5 pixel border radius? That's the border that I'm going to be putting on this picture box. You'll know it when you see it, I think. Alright, so I'm going to go with, I'll go with 2 pixel solid, black, and then we will go with, let me zoom in. I can afford to zoom in. I got some real estate for you. There you go. Border radius. And yeah, 5 pixels will work for me. We're just like flying by the seat of our pants doing this totally blind. That was a test. It didn't work. It's kind of cool to see that it didn't work. Wait, why didn't it work? Because I didn't use the selector properly. Now it should work. Cool. Now it works. Later, T-Page. Have a good evening. If you don't make it back. I'm also going to give this a height of, actually a max height, right? Max height. Yeah, I think a max height of 300 pixels. And no, because I want it to be fixed height. So if I say height, no. I think if I give it both a height and a max height, it should work. That's not working. Let's see what we're doing wrong. I'm going to go to the MDN documentation, and I'm going to look at the picture element on that documentation. Because there's a good chance that like the CSS that I'm trying to apply to the picture element just doesn't work. Because it sounds more like it's more like a media container. So maybe I have to put like that's it. I have to put a container around the picture box, and that's fine. Just throw a div around it. This is a perfect example of when a div is applicable. We're going to throw this invisible element, give it a class name called picture box, and this is actually this is an element, right? A picture box container. Open the div up and throw the picture into it. So really, we could take this picture element away. No, it's fine. It's fine. I think. I don't actually know what I'm doing. Do any of us though? Do any of us? Nobody knows. If someone tells you, yeah, they got it figured out, they know what they're doing, I'm not sure they're being 100% honest with you. Underscore container, right? That's what we called it. Let's see what it gives us here. It gives us the same result. Oh, that's because I didn't give it a height yet. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. What if I say max width 300 pixels? Thank you. Height 300 pixels. That's exactly what we want. So now what I think we should do is, what do y'all think? Y'all think that looks good? And the little picture of the Pokemon is gonna pop up in there, and it'll be great. So I think the next thing we ought to do is move this whole section, right? And then, because once we have this in the team builder, this entire plate is going to be duplicated 6 times up on the team display. So yeah. Cool. Ganz cool. Yeah, so let's talk more about this picture element, right? And I'll actually have this up here. So we may not use it only because I don't know. It just seems to me. Well, you know what we could do? So they're setting media queries within the source element in that picture, right? So let's talk this through. The picture element, the reason that it's there is it's a rich media element, right? The reason what I mean by that is, as you can see on this element, they stuff multiple child elements inside of it. These source tags and these image, or these source elements and these image elements, right? So the source elements, they refer to the same thing as the image elements do. They just do it in a newer way, and they include the media queries that you would want for them to display on certain pages, right? So what this is saying is, in this picture box, I want you to either display, if the screen is at a minimum width of 800 pixels, this picture. If not, or if the browser can't read that, then display this. You can also stack stuff, so you can like put multiple media queries on top of it. Basically what it boils down to is you can put improved pictures depending on the screen. You can also display a different picture, right? Depending on the type of device that the person is logging on from. So, yeah. The picture element. I'm going to keep it, and the reason I'm going to keep it is because we could still do some fun stuff with it. Yeah. I'm going to keep it. And there's that. Large and in charge. I'm going to keep this inspection up. I'm going to show you all too. It's not. It's be like, It is. I can't speak right now either. That's funny. But check it out. I told you all I would show you like the style tags and stuff like this and how I debug styles using this deal. But there it is. So basically this goes through and like it highlights stuff for you. It's very nice. I'll show you the accessibility tree as well. So you can use this button to kind of select stuff, right? We'll go there. This is the style that we just wrote. And the reason that I use this is then, right, you can totally use, the inspection tool as a debugger as well. Or you can mess with the style within the inspection tool and then just copy it into your live code, right? So because this all goes away. As soon as I refresh the page, boom. You see what I'm saying? So it is good. Yeah, so that's good to go. What we need to do now is we need to throw a container around this whole thing. The reason why is because this is a single, effectively a single unit. And we need to make it so that they sit side by side rather than in a column. And the way that we're going to do that is with Flexbox. So check it out. I will throw the div. I'm just going to call this class flex container. And then we'll throw everything that's outside of the flex container, minus that script tag, we don't need that in there, into this container, the flex container. Nothing's changed yet, right? The page should look the same. Good. So now, though, we'll mess with this flex container. I'm going to delete this. Actually, no, I'm not. Because I like to keep my code organized. This is not here anymore either. Flex container is here on the page. As you can see, I kind of worked down the page as to what's on the page relative to what's on the HTML. It will appear in the same order, more or less, on my CSS. If not, you comment the hell out of it, you know what I mean? So you tell whoever's coming after you that this is what it is. This is the Flexbox container to make Pokemon information display side by side. Okay? So easy, maybe. That's kind of a lengthy comment, but whatever. And then I'm just going to throw a display flex on it. I don't know if anything's going to change quite yet. Yeah, look, something's already changed. Holy crap. Good stuff. So right now what happened is it threw display flex on everything in this container. That's okay, but we don't want that to happen because as you can see, it displayed flex on everything, and so now everything is kind of along an x-axis on the screen, right? And that's because this display type, so CSS, first of all, CSS has different display types. There's block, display, flex, display inline block, display none, right? That's actually my code of the unknown brethren code name at Deep Dive. So what's up? Display none. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, so yeah, right now it's on an x-axis because display flex defaults to a rows, or yeah, a row is kind of display. But we want it actually to display in row. We want two containers in rows. So what we'll do is actually throw a couple more boxes. And this is exactly what divs and flexbox is for. So this is not a concern for accessibility. What's a concern for accessibility is when you start using this for things like this. Not a good thing. So don't do that. But check it out. So what we'll do is div class. I'm just going to call this flex container, and we're going to follow the BEM naming conventions. So flex container is the name of the element, or this is the name of the block, right? The name of the element is flex child, I think. Yeah. BEM 101. Let me check. I believe I'm doing this correctly. Yeah. I'm looking at the CSS here just to make sure that my understanding of BEM is correct. You know, it never hurts to double check. Yeah, okay. Just checking to make sure that there's not anything like built within the language that like would make it so that you don't have to worry about like overlapping styles and all that jazz. You know what I mean? So back to BEM. Yep, we'll call those both the same thing actually, and I'm gonna throw this in the same sort of a box. Another div class equal flex container __ flex child. And select all of this. Paste into the box. So now we should have something that's a little bit different, right? Now, certainly not better yet, because we have to get this to display what in a row, and it's not yet. So. And actually, I think Flex has a built-in. Let's see. I think we can get it to do its thing. Like we may not have to. I'm gonna think of something different. Display Flexbox, sticky. Let's see. Flexbox. Just give me the guide to Flexbox. CSS tricks. Thank you. You see how that works? Like I just asked it. Just kidding. I just asked it with my fingers, my fingertips. All right, here we go. Display flex direction. This establishes the main axis. Row. Row is the default. So what's going on? Display flex container. So if these are both boxes within a flex container, flex boxes within a flex container, shouldn't they already be displaying as a row? Well, let's see if we maybe take this off. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Oh my word. Alright, let's look. Let's see what's going on. And I should, right, have to apply it to the container. And it's already defaulted. How big is this container? So what I'm thinking is it might be wrapping. Yeah, see, there's my flex container. My flex container is wrapping the stuff down because it's not as wide. So what if I say margin 0 on the flex container? Margin 0. No, it doesn't do anything. What if I say width 100%? No. Okay. Alright, flex container. Let's look at you then. I want these to sit side by side. Here's my complete guide to Flexbox. Now, what do we have to do to get these sit side by side? We need these flex containers, so our container is display flex. Flex direction is row. Flex wrap, yep, we'll try to fit on one line. I want flex wrap to be no wrap. No wrap, don't wrap it. I want everything on one line. Is it fudging on these styles? Let's look at these styles. Is there a... I was gonna laugh. I was gonna be like, y'all, it's that. Oh, it is that. Look what I did, y'all. Oops. Something's still off. No. So we need to find out. Hold on. Bear with me for a moment. Zooming out for just a second so that I can see my code. Where are you coming from? That's after the picture box. That's that. That goes to there. Alright, that's weird. Where's this current level selector? Ah. I don't think it likes that syntax at all. I'm gonna take this out for a sec. Figured it out! Y'all see that? Boom. Boom. Side by side. That's the way that we want it. It's just a little bit worse than the way that we want it to look. I think we're just going to have to give this a fixed width. Fixed width. That's fine. And actually we'll fiddle with that because we kind of want it to maintain a square. But we'll work with it once we have the Pokemon on the page. Geez, I feel like it's just like not a lot of time. Alright. So now these boxes obviously need some sort of margins around them. Right? And so what I'll do to kind of debug that is I'm going to actually give this I'm just going to call them flex container red and blue. Just so that we can see them on the page. Kind of easy way for me to do it. Flex container red, background red, same thing here, blue, blue, background, blue. Yeah, so that just kind of gives you a place to be able to say, oh yeah, that's on that side, that's on that side. So, I don't know, I kind of dig it. Oh, and actually, what we'll do is, watch, come up here, here's our flex container. What was it called? Child? Flex child? Flex child. I am flexing my CSS skills. I suck so bad at CSS. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, watching me suck at CSS. I'm gonna give these boxes some padding. So let's talk about this, right? Is it padding? Yeah. So in HTML you have what's called the box model. In CSS you have what's called the box model, right? This applies to it's an interaction. The box model is an interaction between HTML and CSS. So on the outside of that box you have the margin. That's the space outside of the box. That's the space that so basically think about like my camera box, right? I'll stand here so you can see. Anything outside this camera box is the margin, okay? So that's this black space above me, the black space here, the black space here, and the black space here is all margins, okay? So what we're looking at right now is we need to apply margins and padding on these boxes so that they spread out a little bit, because right now they're really crammed and close together. So anyway, let's finish box model real quick before we do that. So outside of the box is the margin. Just inside of that is the border. So that's the line around the element, okay, is the border of the element. You can apply styles to this. We've already done it. Y'all saw me apply that 2 pixel border with the 5 pixel border radius earlier to the entire picture box container, or to the picture box container. So just inside, so that's the margin, is the outside, the border is the line going around. The inside from like, so think about me as like the contents of the element, right? The padding is the space between the contents and the border. So for instance, my padding right now on my I guess that's your left as well. Anyway, on this side is much larger than my padding on this side because it's a shorter distance. So you see how that works. And same thing, I have no padding here. I'm just like padding 0, and here I have like 100 pixels worth of padding, right? So that's how the box model works in CSS. Easy enough. So what we'll do is we'll apply actually some margin. Let me zoom back in. All right. Yeah, that's good. So that's fine, right? It spreads the boxes out. I think that the second box I think the second box needs some padding, because it's just because that current level thing is just riding up on the border. So let's work with that. I'm using M's and Rems, and so let's actually pull that up, because they're basically like responsive units rather than using the actual size of, like, okay, so 1M is like the size of the standard size of the font on the screen. I think it's like 16 or something like that, 16 pixels. Basically, it's or whatever the base font is on the page. Let's pull it up. What's Rem and M? CSS. Because they're basically responsive units, so that you don't have to use an exact unit of measure. Are you confused about Rem and M? Well, M is relative to the font size. Here we go. M is relative to the font size of its direct or nearest parent. Rem is only relative to the HTML root font size. Gotcha. Seems like M is more usable for our purposes for right now. Another one. There's another good one. Another good link that I'll post. CSS tricks on the Twitch, the multi-streams. That is true. Alright, I kind of dig it. I'll dig the way this is going. I'm going to put a padding on this side too. I'm not going to keep these called red and blue. I think we should probably call them left and right or something like that. Oh, actually, now the style applies to both, so I'll just put padding on the flex child. Does that make sense? Ish. That looks so much better. That even looks like kind of in line. I don't know. Maybe we should just keep the red and the blue. It kind of sticks with the theme, and it's gonna look rough though on a screen repeated 6 times. So probably not. Yeah. No. This is great. We have to create this function, so we're not gonna mess with that. But let's get this Charmander on the page. Let's get the picture of the Charmander. So at least within the next 15 minutes, we can get that all set. Where is the image source? Let's do this. Let's say, gosh, how do we do this? We need to go to our JavaScript first. This is one of those things that's silly because I've done it like 100 times, but when it comes to remembering console document.yellow.id, that wouldn't work. Yeah. How to set images dynamically. JavaScript. Let's see. Is there a good here we go. This looks good. Cool. Oh, they create the element. They create the image element. What if I said instead, no, I can just do that. Yeah. let's do that. So where does this get pushed to the page? Oh, okay. Oh, we already have something going. Look at that. We have a push to page function, y'all. That's dope. I forgot that we did that. That is so cool. That makes this so much easier. Let's go ahead and get this guy on the page. This is cool. Let's say const. Yeah, I want to identify the container. Alright, well, okay, so the reason that I'm pulling a variable out right now is because I want to be able to use that variable to set the source. Like I said, dynamically. So const, we'll go with sprite. That works for me. And actually we'll use document dot get element by ID. What was the element called? Did we have an ID on that image element yet? We don't. And that's okay. I wonder if we can just go their way, and instead of doing this, watch, I think we can. Y'all, my eyes light up when I'm doing this stuff, like, sometimes I just get like so, it gets so exciting. Sorry. But I just thought of something. So using that same tutorial, how to add an image. Instead of doing it my way, I'm going to do it their way. And use that. I kind of dig that create element document dot create element. We'll create an image element. It's called sprite image. We'll say sprite image dot source is equal to and it's Pokemon object dot sprite. Where did it go? Great. And then we'll say, and this is where we add it. So actually let's do some commenting here. Pull out the variable you need. Push to parent element. And we'll use in the order that they appear on the page, document. And this says that we're going to use the identified the container query selector, okay, which is going to identify picture box, right, which is the parent element for this child, for this image, and then we'll append child. And if all goes well, this should work. So let's see. It's not, the style's not gonna be pretty. It might be. We could see. Could be. Oh, there it is. There's our Charmander. He's on there. He's tiny. He's a tiny little baby Charmander. But he's on the page. Did I get zoomed in at all? No. You can't see still. Oh, there you go. Nope, still no. Anyway, you'll have to trust me. Charmander's there on the page. So yeah, let's style him up a little bit. And actually we need alt text, right? Check it out. So this is kind of nice because we can add the alt text dynamically, right? Sprite image alt. And then we'll just set it as a string. So let's do this because we got 8 minutes left. We need to talk about alt text. What is alt text? Alt text is what displays on the page displays on the page. It doesn't display on the page. It is alt text is what screen readers read so that people who aren't sighted can intake this information. Alt text super important. If you're not putting alt text on your websites now, you absolutely need to be putting alt text on your websites. Excuse me, and 100%. You can do this dynamically by doing this the way that I'm showing you right now. Sprite image of Pokemon object dot name. That'll put Charmander's name in the string. And it's okay to be as detailed as possible. I'm just gonna wing it. It looks like Pokemon. Fire red, leaf green. Yeah, I said be as detailed as possible, and then I just did that, didn't I? But it's, you know. We're gonna go to the end. Cool. Save. Alright, and so we should also not only so a few things should happen now. Because I zoomed in. There we go. That's actually nice. When I hover over this, alt text should have appeared. Let's see why it not. Oh, maybe it is going to. Maybe not. But as you can see, within the image, it pulls the source. It also gives the dynamically loaded alt text that we created for Charmander. So very nice, right? We do need to capitalize that. Oh, that's why. Because we're calling it name instead of monster name. Remember that monster name we want to use instead because monster name is the method that's within the class method that's doing the doesn't like that. Hold on. Try to figure that out. Why don't you like that? It's like, no, I don't want to put monster name there. Let's see why. I wonder if it's interesting. I'll figure that out. I don't know why it's not able to load that, but it's not. But in any case, it does allow you to load the uncapitalized version, and that's fine. We have alt text, and it's dynamically loaded, so that's even better. Oh, check it out. When we click it with our inspector, or we hover it with our inspector, this is what I wanted to show y'all as far as accessibility is, and we have about 3 minutes left. I'll go into the accessibility tree shortly, and then call it because this is relevant to what we're talking about now. And then we'll fix Charmander later, or I'll post it up on GitHub. Anyway, accessibility. If you come here to the accessibility tree, it gives you all of the different accessibility names for all of these different things. So we need to, first of all, deeply look at our accessibility tree next time because it's garbage right now. And the reason for that is because I'm using generic boxes, right? Which we can probably stuff these into like an article, and it would maybe have a little bit better time for the accessibility tree, maybe. But if you check this out, like for instance, click this, right? It does say that let's go to our what's going on? Oh, I don't. Maybe you're not allowed to click the accessibility tree. Let me refresh real quick. In any case, it tells you basically the rules of each of the different things within the tree. So for instance, this is a heading, right? This is, and the text in the heading is the word's name. Let's see if it'll let me go to this picture, because this will be a lot more interesting on the accessibility tree. This image, right? It gives the alt text, and it tells you that it is an image. I'll talk a little bit about Aria in the future. Not my dog, but what this is. But yeah, and it gives you the role. And basically, this tree is loaded next to the DOM. And yeah, accessibility, good stuff. Anyway, that's what we have tonight. Pretty happy with it. I will work on getting this code up, linked onto the Twitch, the Facebook, and the YouTube. There will be a GitHub link. You should expect that within the next 24 to 48 hours. I'll fix Charmander later. We'll come back next time and get this duplicated 6 times using grid, and then we'll make a simple selector so that we can select each box and what Pokemon we want to load into each box, and we'll be good to go from there. It's been good, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Have a blessed day, Midgard, and again, thanks for chilling. I appreciate your time, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun. Good deal. Night, y'all.
Alright, let's have a fun save point real quick.
Now.
It's like 2 more minutes, 2 more minutes.
Come on, let's go.
Alright, hang on.
Marcus, come on, now.
Alright, jeez.